Hello everyone and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 3. We aren't playing the random mod anymore, we are playing as France. It is April of 1936 and we've done a fairly good job of getting everything situated in terms of our starting lineup, but we are currently working on expanding into the future, maybe being able to actually hold the line against the Germans, and to that end we are focusing on expanding our army, keeping our navy basically where it is in terms of strength and ability, because it's going to be more than enough for what we need, and pulling all of our troops back from Africa and Indochina, basically to focus on our main goals. With regards to the Maginot Army, we have 3 corps deployed along the actual border right now. The actual front is fairly weak, but the fort level in all of these provinces is remarkably high. It's a 10 level fort. It's going to be incredibly difficult to attack into any one of these provinces, and we have a full corps of infantry laying in reserve, so if they do decide to actually push through and attack at all, we'll be able to reinforce that relatively quickly. Now, one thing we could do, if they don't give many troops, like if they're invading Poland and they don't have many troops on their actual border, we might actually be able to push out here and make a defensive line along this river. The only real problem with that is that we'll be pushing into some very well-defended territory here, so that might not be actually possible, depending on the state of our army. We are researching anti-tank ammunition, anti-tank barrel, and basically everything we can do to increase the ability of our artillery and anti-tank brigades up to reasonable levels, because that's where the majority of our fighting strength is going to be coming from, our support brigades and our infantry. So we're going to do that as much as is possible. We already have the ability to build motorized infantry, so we don't need to waste any upgrades on our cavalry weaponry. So we'll dump this into another land tech. Possibly, no. We want to do central planning. This grand battle plan is something that we absolutely need. We need to focus our research. Oh, and an election. Wonderful. Okay, so we have more technology that we need to deal with. And we have had our first election. It looks like the ARV, which is what we have been since the beginning, was elected. We won't be able to change very many of these, and honestly, it doesn't really matter to us too much. We may have wanted a new head of government, other than this Albert Surratt person, because he has a malice to money, but he does give us a bonus to our consumer goods. This Albert Lebrun character increases the amount of changes our national unity undergoes, which is actually good for us right now because we are increasing our national unity. But if someone were to start bombing us, this man would make that drop our national unity even further than it already would. So we'll take a look at this, see what we can do. Tendency to drift. We don't actually drift at all. So this dude is... We don't have anybody who's actually going to help us in any significant way. And we do want the administrative genius because we need to be able to use as much of our IC as possible. Threat impact is not a good thing, actually. Actually, no, that's our threat impacting other people, so that'll be fine. In terms of intelligence, yeah, that's fine. And we want less supply consumption for right now anyway. So we'll deal with that. Our consumer goods need has gone up just a little bit. We probably lost someone who was giving us a bonus to our consumer goods need. And we can now deploy our first batch of units. So this is not a full corps yet. We do need another infantry division to be built. Looks like May 8th is when we'll get the next infantry division, which will be just fine. And we have 5 anti-tank brigades that we can deploy. So I like using this interface better because you can see exactly who who isn't a full-strength brigade yet. So I'm just going to basically pick these at random. We already know that all of our infantry units are in France already, so these aren't going to be deployed to somebody who may not actually need them. And we're just going to continue to build these support brigades until all of our infantry have one. There's no real good way to actually tell that other than going through and looking at everybody. You can see this guy has it and this guy doesn't. But when we can use that easy deploy button. Here, I'll show you right here. This is all of the infantry units that you can possibly deploy this support unit to. And now we don't want to do support units with our mountain brigades because that will counteract the nice bonuses they get. And we don't want to add a slow anti-tank. Or is this artillery? This is artillery. You don't want to add a slow artillery brigade onto our armored units. So if you want, you can go through and count how many infantry units you have that don't have support brigades on this screen. Once again, I'm just going to find people and deploy them basically at random. It really doesn't matter too much. I'm not going to micromanage that much. And it looks like the 7th Corps is now completely filled out. The 1st Army has the Armored Corps and 3 Infantry Corps, so we need to make sure that we build... Okay, we have 2 infantry being built right now, so we need 3 more infantry regiments. And let's deploy these ones with artillery instead. 3 more, and we'll do them as reserves for now. So this will be our next corps of infantry. And we'll let the Dunkirk start getting built. At this point, I think that'll be fine. And we'll just keep on going from here. Our consumer goods need has gone down yet again. Wonderful. And we did finish some technology. So let's see. We've got 3 anti-tank barrel and our artilleries. All these technologies are now up to par, so we can choose to do something else. Now, we actually do have a decent amount of armored car. It wouldn't be that detrimental to us to actually go in and take care of that. But I think what we want more is better fighters. We want control of the skies, or at least to be able to contest the German control of the skies. And then we'll throw something at our... Let's see, do we have any actual oil? No, it looks like we trade for all of our oil. So we don't have any... We don't get any oil naturally. It looks like we're trading away a decent amount of things, and we have plenty of energy, so... let's do supply production. I think that's a good thing. The less industrial capacity we need to use to make supplies, the better. Alright, and even less consumer goods needed, which is always a nice thing. Basic bomb has been developed. So let's go for the twin airframe, and we'll do the fuel tank next. The fuel tank, I think, is the most important thing when it comes to these tactical bombers. Speaking of tactical bombers, can we look at one? It's basically leftover tactical bombers from World War I. They have Model 1918 training, and they're still equipped with the same engine and aircraft machine gun as the First World War, and that won't change until our upgrade need goes down, which will not happen until we stop researching, really, or we decide that we're good on production now and we start dumping things into the upgrades. So we'll see. Agriculture advanced, industrial production, and industrial efficiency. There is some discussion over what exactly industrial production and efficiency do. The industrial production is a flat bonus to your IC, so you can see it up here. We have right now a 10% bonus from improved technology. That's this bonus right here. If we were to research this level 5 here, we would have a 12.5% bonus to industrial production. And because we have basically 100 base IC, this is the technology is giving us a straight 10 additional IC on top of whatever else we get from our ministers, which is where that administrative genius is coming from, and our laws, which is where that negative 50% penalty is coming from. So industrial production is good if you have enough resources to get straight up more industrial capacity. Industrial efficiency is used in the production screen. Now you can't actually see the modifier anywhere in here, so it's a little bit of a pain. But basically, if you go into the division builder and you see this one, this build cost in IC, this armor unit right here costs 13.56. Actually, to see it better, let's go into the division builder, the attachment builder, 13.56. And that's this number right here. Now this is further modified by the armor practical, which is actually increasing it by 9%. But when we go and we actually build the darn thing, we get a bonus based on our industrial efficiency. So we are using 12.5, or in this case right now, 10% less of our IC that we give in the production tab to actually go and build this thing. Now, it doesn't tell you how it gets this number. It doesn't tell you how this number relates to anything else, but this number is reduced by 10%. This number is increased by 10%. So in total, we have a 20% swing in our favor over a country who hasn't researched any of either of those things. So both of them are useful, but if you can't afford to actually make any more factories, if you can't get enough resources to build more factories, you can still research industrial efficiency, because this one doesn't make you use any more resources, but industrial production does. Nice and easy, fairly simple anyway. Way to understand that. We actually do still need, looks like 2 more research projects. And we don't really have any really imminently necessary ones. Multi-role fighters would be nice, but we can't. I mean, let's throw it on here. Once it gets to 1937, we can do all these 1938 techs without worrying too much. And I suppose our submarines are pretty crap, and I believe you can actually click the upgrade button? No, you can't. Okay, you can't actually click the upgrade button for submarines, nor can you for destroyers, apparently. So I think I was playing a mod once where you could actually upgrade submarines and destroyers, and I get confused now. We can't really afford to be building any more industrial capacity. I want these tools, but we need better infantry weapons for that. We're pretty up to date on all of this stuff. We can start researching it in 1937. Let's do the armored car, just because it's better than having a wasted research point. And we're not going to be building officers yet until we get a nice bonus to our officer production and all that fun stuff. How's our espionage doing? Yugoslavia, support the ruling party. No, I don't. Which one is actually the ruling party in Yugoslavia? Netherlands, South Africa, Yugoslavia. Narodnska Radikalna Stranka. Okay, so which one is that? This one, right here. The 23% one is the ruling party, whereas this one is 47%. So yeah, we're attempting to increase the public support for the ruling party in Yugoslavia, which is a good thing. Because if a democratic party has more support than the fascist party, they will be more likely to join us. We have a decision available. The Popular Front. What are you? We have not forgotten the night of the 6th of February, 1934. We finally have a government of the United Left, and we will use this to heal the wounds left, and our new labor laws will bring greater peace to the French economy. Just a straight good thing. Gain 6 unity. Yes, we will gain 6 unity. Wonderful. It looks like we can do that more and more and more. Oh, no we can't. Okay. Interesting. So we just got free 6 unity, which is always nice. We are raising it at about +1 per month, a little bit less than +1 per month. Alright, we have another... At the beginning of our next infantry corps, the 8th Corps. Attach you to the 1st Army. We'll go through and take a look at all of our leaders when war gets closer. I have automated trade. It's probably not the most efficient way of doing it, but I think that is fine for what we want to accomplish here. I'm not going to be automating our armies. We really won't be able to afford to have any front on automation. Now, if we do end up building so many troops, we have somehow if we get enough manpower that we can afford to put troops over in Indonesia, sorry, not Indonesia, Indochina, we'll put them on automatic. Hey, random 5% additional industrial capacity is always nice. That does mean that we have started losing resources, though, so that might not be the best thing in the world. But we'll take it while we have extra resources that we don't immediately have use for. Our engineer brigade is about to finish, which is good. Finally, we can flesh out our armored core. Here we go. Boom. So, first armored core, total of 50,000 men. Yeah, it's not too shabby. We have cavalry that we'll want to upgrade to motorized infantry as soon as possible to make sure that they're as quick as they need to be. We're actually losing... We have a little bit of dissent being in our countries. And yeah, our officer ratio is down to 90%. It's pretty bad. Oh, Spanish Civil War has started. Okay, now we have the ability to intervene in a Spanish Civil War. Basically meaning we can send volunteers over there to help the Republicans. But we need to have the popularity or organization of at least 50%. And we're at 33% right now, so that's not good. We only have 27% organization. We are gaining organization at a rather quick rate because we're splitting our spies between supporting our ruling party and raising our national unity. So once we get either of those things, we'll be able to actually send the Republicans some help. Better infantry support weapons is good. It's not quite 1937, so we need to find yet another thing to invest in. I guess we'll do the armored car armor. And in the meantime, our upgrade need is just increasing. Even though we've, since the beginning of the game, we've dedicated 10 industrial capacity to it, there's just so much that needs upgrading. Generally speaking, the Republicans lose. It's entirely possible for a human player to... Oh, now we can research all this stuff. Good. Let's research mountain warfare equipment. That'll be the most important. And then I guess we'll do Arctic, although we're probably never going to be fighting anywhere that counts as Arctic. It is possible for the Republicans to win. The problem is they have a lot of territory to cover and not very many troops. The nationalists actually have the former Spanish army on their side, so it's not always the easiest war for the Republicans to fight. All right, the games are concluded. Random event, flavor text, good stuff. So if we can get to the point where we can intervene in the war, send them some materials, then we will, absolutely. But it's not our main priority, and it looks like maybe even they'll lose Madrid right away. They need to take Valencia, isolate it, and cut off any troops that are in here. Ah, good. Flesh out that 8th Corps. And we have 5 more anti-tank brigades we can deploy to some of our naked infantry units. And that's all of the anti-tank that we had queued up. We have 5 artillery here. We'll, when we deploy those, we will count the number of infantry that are left without... here we go. We'll deploy 4 of them, and then we'll count the number of infantry that are left without support brigades. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So with this one being deployed, it brings us down to 13. We have 13 infantry divisions without any support brigades. So we are going to build, let's do 5 more anti-tank as reserves, which leaves us with 8 more artillery as reserves as well. Wonderful. And yeah, we'll let the Dunkirk finish, I suppose. It is taking up 10 industrial capacity, unfortunately, but I mean, it's a good ship. We started the game with some industrial capacity invested in it already. Better supply production is always good. And I suppose we'll just bite the bullet and go for industrial efficiency, even though it's only going to be infantry warfare. Good. Yeah, we'll keep on researching that as well. It's almost 1937, so we'll get rid of these inefficient research penalties fairly quickly. How are our spies doing? Still have 10. And in Yugoslavia, they have actually completely killed all of our spies, which sucks. But their party is getting stronger, which is a good thing. We'll just keep on sending them until he gets 10 again, and then we'll go from there. In the meantime, we are using our diplomatic influence to attempt to bring Yugoslavia closer to our nation, right down here. Even though we are influencing them, they are currently drifting to closer to the Allies. Which is unfortunate. Basic twin airplane engine just finished. Okay, it's October of 1936. Let's start again on researching our infantry weapons. Basic medium fuel tank. That would be this one. Wonderful. More infantry weapons. Better education. Wonderful. More leadership is always a good thing. We're going to continue researching that. Which tomorrow will give us a little bit more that we can be doing with our leadership pool. So we used to only have we used to not have that plus 5% from improved technology bonus at all, but now we do. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're still going to stick with just one unit of officer generation, 1.05 units of diplomatic influence generation, and 0.10 for our spies, but that did mean we got a little bit more that we can use for research, and we can research a 14th technology at 25% of speed, so let's do the industrial production research. That'll be fine. Yeah, and it looks like the Republicans, they've just been surrounded around the capital of Madrid. And yeah, they just lost Madrid. Keep researching that. Usually if the Republicans ever lose Madrid, they lose the war. It is looking fairly okay for them now. They have a fairly contiguous border down here. They probably have a... Oh, they don't have a unit up there. I can actually see that. Okay, so there's no one caught in that pocket up there. If they can shut down this pocket down here and then redeploy their troops up north, that would probably be okay. Popularity or organization at least 50. Our organization is 30. Our popularity is 31. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. And we can't afford to stop increasing our national unity, really at any point in time. We need that as high as possible. So if they can survive long enough that we can send help, then we'll definitely send help, but it's not going to happen otherwise. Another infantry division, add it to the Understrength 8 Corps. We need 2 more, and those 2 will be done in January of next year. And then we will begin working on more of our support brigades, and if we have any industrial capacity left over, we might throw in an armored regiment to to start fleshing out that second army's armored corps. I don't think we need to assign an armored corps to the Maginot Line. Oh wow, nationalist China is doing good. China is not yet at war with... Oh, that was probably by event. Okay, yeah. China is probably not at war with Japan yet. No, not yet. And it looks like they aren't even at war with the communists. Communist Chinese. No, they're not at war with them anymore. So the Japanese will probably begin to invade fairly soon. Armored car gun advance is always nice. It's almost 1937 though, so how about we start back in on the support brigades research. Even though they're inefficient, they'll only be inefficient for like a month, and I think that they will be more used to us than basically anything else we can decide to research that won't be inefficient. Our officer ratio is going down, but even with all of the troop deployments we've been doing, we actually have increased in manpower. Now, if we were to mobilize right now, we would need 166 manpower. So yeah, we do need to rapidly increase. I want to have at least 2 full armies that we can use in the defense up here, and an army that we can take like a corps at a time and go put a corps up here, put a corps or 2 up here, and maybe even take Sicily or something like that. 8th Corps is being expanded, which is awesome. Part of that is that we also aren't reinforcing. Right now we need 20 manpower to reinforce our troops. And we just aren't doing that. Alright, looks like 8th Corps is full now. Yep, good. And the same day, we got 5 more anti-tank brigades. So now we can start in on those artillery brigades in earnest. Yeah, and now we need to decide what else we're going to use our production on. So we will build 1 division of... actually, let's do 2 reserve divisions of armor. It'll take like half of our available production. Yeah, we got 40 that we can dedicate to production. Between these 2, it's going to take most of it. And when we finish deploying our artillery brigades, we'll start in on more infantry. And yeah, the Republicans are losing the war again. And we still don't have enough to, like, our popularity is actually going down, but our organization is still going up, so can't really complain about that too much. Central planning is always a nice thing. It's not absolutely necessary. And we also want unit cooperation, I think. Yeah. Now let's keep on doing central planning, and then we'll go down to large front. It is 1937, though. It's always a nice thing. So all of our penalties to ahead of time technology research has gone away. It does mean that we've already used up 1 of our preparatory years. The war generally starts in September of 1939. We do have the First Army basically all up and ready to go. So we're halfway to what's absolutely necessary for our defense. But I'd like to be a little bit further along, to be entirely honest. A little bit nervous about this, if you know what I mean. Interception tactics. Okay, so the intercept efficiency is what we're talking about here. The air intercept efficiency, that's direct. It's directly related to. Let's select one, and if we go up here and select air intercept, every time they launch to do one of these missions, they take some of their organization. The efficiency decreases the amount of organization that it takes for them to do it, so they can obviously do it longer and probably do it better as they gain more and more experience. So that combined with the morale regeneration and the organization really means that your interceptors are that much more efficient and better at doing air intercept tactics. This target selection is like, you don't want to research both of these because they end up basically canceling each other out. Target selection plus 10% for bombers versus for fighters. This just determines which units your fighters will prefer to target in air. Right now, the French have it looks like a 5% bonus to your fighters deciding to target the enemy bombers in the air rather than the enemy fighters. So we'll prevent their bombers from doing damage to us before we prevent their fighters from attacking us back. And this ground control determines how much radar will impact the actual fight, because we get bonuses if we are attacking, if there's a fight happening within range of one of our radar stations. Obviously, we don't have any radar stations built yet, and we can't exactly build it until next year. So, well, we can't even start researching it until next year. Maybe we can get the British to give us their technology. Wouldn't that be nice? But I don't think that we necessarily want to dump 3 points of research in that. Let's spread it out over here a little bit, and we'll do armor for our tanks. So we're doing okay. Great peace demonstration. Random loss of unity. Great. Well, I mean, we started at roughly 35 national unity, and now we're up to 54. So in a year, I'd say we're doing pretty well. This will lose 1, so we're down to 53. But it gives us plus 2% support, so that's always nice. Republican Spain is not doing too well, but that's sort of to be expected, unfortunately. How are we doing here? 31 and 32. So yeah, it looks like it's a long, long way away for us to be able to help the Republicans in the Spanish Civil War. It would be nice to help them, because once the war is over, regardless of if they win or if they lose, we get some bonuses to our technology, but it's not a make or break thing. Like, some of our generals will gain experience and yada yada yada. Okay, looks like our free spies are doing okay. Let's keep them at there, and let's start sinking some spies into Germany, I'd say. Once we get a good backlog of spies, we'll start maybe having some spy wars with Germany. It looks like their military expansion is not quite up to snuff yet either. They don't even have enough troops to fully man our border yet. More artillery is always good. But they have... Well, let's see what our spies say about their industrial capacity. Okay, they have 201 industrial capacity. We have 68 right now. This is not going well. At 54% unity, we are almost to the point where we can move from a full civilian economy to a basic mobilized economy. We need our neutrality below 70 and our unity at least 60. So once we get up to 60, if our neutrality, where are we? Here we are. Our neutrality is below 70, then we're all good to go. So that's our goal right now. Our neutrality is decreasing, and our national unity needs to increase so we can move from a full civilian economy with a negative 50% industrial capacity penalty down up to basic mobilization. It means that we'll need to spend more on consumer goods and we'll get less money, but the amount of resources we generate will go up, and the amount of industrial capacity we generate will also go up. So that's our next step. That's going to be our goal for next video. It is the 22nd of March. Thank you much for joining me for another episode of Hearts of Iron 3 as France. Hopefully Germany doesn't kill us. Yeah, hopefully we can hold the line. Don't expect any, major awesome nonsense coming out from this. We are a weak country. We do have a strong army, but we're a weak country. It's really going to be all that we can do to hold them off. But once again, thanks for joining me. I hope you're enjoying this. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. Feel free to like, comment, or subscribe if you so feel the desire to. If not, don't worry about it. I'm always welcoming to constructive criticism. Go ahead and leave it in the comments, or go ahead and send me a private message. Either way, I hope you'll join me for the next video. Thanks much, and I'll see you all next time.